great picture behind you. Is it a painting?
I'm muted. It's the Danielle Fernie. Actually.
Wow, very nice.
Nice. Good morning, Council. Oh,
Sorry.
Eric just fell over. No. Just making sure our CAO is here as well. It's being recorded, so I'm going to make the assumption. Pete, are you there? Are you with us, Pete?
Yep, sorry, just a little bit of a sign-in glitch.
Okay, that's what I thought. Good morning, Council. We'll call the meeting to order and acknowledge that we're privileged to gather on the traditional territory of the Kwakwala speaking peoples. Can I have a motion, please, to adopt? Oh, sorry, actually, there's an amendment to the agenda. So under 4B, we'll be adding, correct me if I'm wrong, Pete, DBC, Destination BC funding through partnership with VINT, Vancouver Island North Tourism.
Correct.
So if I can have a motion to adopt the agenda as amended.
Moved.
Okay, seconded. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. Okay. So under old business, item 4A, grant opportunity for the COVID-19 resilience infrastructure stream.
Sorry, can I interrupt just for a second? I'm sorry, Gabby, my mic was off. I wanted to add something to the agenda. I didn't get an opportunity, unfortunately.
Oh, sorry. We can go back.
Okay, thank you. We had an email from you regarding the OCP and the focus groups. I'd like to add that OCP to the agenda. If something you say about that.
Okay. That's a good good point, because I got the names of the seniors as well. So, okay, we'll add that. We'll make that 4C. So then adopted as amended again.
Thank you.
Okay. 4A, grant opportunity. So I asked Pete if we could have this meeting because I thought I'd like to see us give staff as much time as possible for the application of the grant. What's your pleasure, Council? I'll hold off to say my thing, and I'll let you go ahead and jump in. Which one would you like to apply for? So we had at the last meeting, we had the trail, and we had also fire hall retrofitting. Councillor Cole?
Yes, I'm for the trail, and I'll make a passionate plea if need be, but I'll leave it at that for now.
Councillor Barron?
I'd like to see us do the retrofit to the fire hall and the emergency services building. We won't call it fire hall. And I can make my plea if I need to.
Go ahead, Councillor Downey.
I'm gonna side with the fire hall. I just, upon reflection and looking at the needs of the fire hall and our current situation where we are frequently having power outages of longer durations, I think the necessity of having our fire hall emergency services building retrofitted to be able to withstand the situations we're in currently is our first priority over the trail. I would like to see the trail done, but that would take second position for me.
Okay. Councillor Mitchell, did you want to add anything, or would you like to give Councillor Cole his impassioned plea moment?
Well, I would like to just, I wrote something out, so I would just read what I wrote out. How's that?
Sure.
First of all, we've already agreed to use a portion of the funds. We voted on this 2 meetings ago to install a generator for the fire department, the funds that we got through the COVID, whatever, that grant. So And then subsequently, we voted to apply for a grant, which sounded like it was going to be a shoo-in to replace important Warren equipment that needed to be taken care of. So those two immediate issues are looked after. They've already been looked after. So what we're doing here with what we asked Julian to do was to look forward to other projects that are imminent in the next 2 or 3 years, replacing the heating, replacing the roof, neither of which is in any form of crisis mode at this time. We can set those aside because we've met the immediate needs in terms of power generation and having the place operational when there's no power, and making sure they have the equipment that they require. So I think we've covered that. We set aside the funds for it. McElhaney can do the engineering for the trail with money that we've already set aside for recreation. We have the money there to pay for the additional costs. And the bonus of doing that now would be if we got approved and we did that work, then that cost of doing drainage later on in that area, which is quite a significant area and a large cost, would already be taken care of because we got to put drainage in before we can do that trail update. So it would kind of be a kill two birds with one stone if we got it. The other thing I guess I was looking at was staff time. In order for pulling together a proposal for the 27th, which is not even a month away now, really, in terms of work time, for the fire department, it's going to take quite a bit of staff time to get all those quotes prepared. And we may not even get them all in if we're calling sub-trades and other people to come up with some numbers. And on the other hand, McElhaney is already working on the transportation plan, and this would simply be an addition or a supplement to that, to work they're already focused on to some extent. And we haven't really done anything with recreation in the 2 years that we've been in here. I think it behooves us to put a little money in that direction. And I think we also need to keep in mind, and I don't want to be offensive toward the fire department, but I've done my homework on fire departments. Our fire department consumes the lion's share. Well, no, the lion's share is the wrong word. The largest portion of a budget of a community our size of almost anywhere in Canada. We don't neglect our fire department. There may be some mismanagement or something that caused them not to have what they need, but it certainly isn't from lack of resources that we've put toward the fire department and that past councils have put toward the fire department in recent years. We've been putting the money out there. Maybe it needs to be reallocated within the department. I don't know, but it's way more than enough of our budget already. And so I think we need to spend some money on that infrastructure that's going to directly benefit people and their health as well. And I'll leave it at that. So I'm in favor of going ahead with the trail.
I had a couple of points, but they were covered. So I guess for me, the biggest thing is that I feel that the fire hall benefits the entire community. The trail, though I am for recreation in the trail, we haven't really asked the residents who back onto that property how they feel. And, you know, if you're looking at active transportation, Mine Road is one that for years people and many people walk it. I'd rather see the pavement extended and have a bike lane / walking lane there prior to the one going down Campbell Way. Also, if we decide the trail, that's going to shift Julian's priorities. So we don't know what his priorities are for the next year or two. You know, maybe this is a priority of his, but, you know, if we vote for this trail, to apply for the trail, then he is forced to move his schedule around, maybe not, to deal with the drainage first, because we can't do the trail until we do the drainage. So for those reasons, I would be in favor of the fire hall. I do hear you, Councillor Mitchell. We have put a lot of money, but I think a lot of that in the last little bit has been catching up to a neglected fire hall for quite a number of years. Oh, and one other thing, a minister and also the people in charge of the program have all mentioned fire halls. And I think that, that this will be the one that will have the most success in accomplishing. And I think staff time, all of them are going to take a lot of staff time. I'm sure they're shaking a little bit with the fact that we've now got 2 major grant applications that we're funding for. So, Councillor Cole?
Before I just make a few points, can I ask our CAO which application does he feel would take more staff time? Because I feel the trail is going to be quite a bit less, but I'd like his opinion on that.
Go ahead, Pete.
Through the mayor, thank you. Actually, with the amount of work that we've already done on the fire hall, we're actually in a better position to apply for that grant funding. The trail, we have absolutely zero work done on it so far. McElhaney, you know, the fact that there are engineers, they still need to lean on staff for you know, local support of you know, what we have, what we need, you know, certain aspects to it that you know, they pull from my time, even though they're the ones that are doing the engineering. The other thing I think that we need to look at when applying for this funding is it is in response to projects that were deferred because of COVID. It is called the COVID-19 Infrastructure Resilience Fund. So the trail wasn't put off because of COVID. To me, this looks like more like a Hail Mary, and we would get a Class C quote at best. Whereas I've already talked to Julian about the fire hall. As far as the generator goes, he's you know, a strong B, Class B quote on it. And for anyone that doesn't understand the different classes, a Class C is plus or minus 40%. There would be significant more engineering to be done on the trail to get us to a Class A or Class B quote, and there's just simply not enough time between now and when the application's due to get that. So I feel with the work that Julian's done on the fire hall, it's just a matter of maybe 1 or 2 different quotes, like the compressor we haven't looked at, but I believe Fire Chief Tate has looked at compressors and may have quotes on that. And the roof, I don't think would take very much time for us to get a quote on that. So that's just my opinion. I'm obviously happy to go whichever direction council would like to go.
Okay. Anything further before I ask somebody to make a motion? Go ahead, Councillor.
Sure, yeah. If I may, if we don't go for this trail now, like, we're never going to get it. This is a big ticket item. We're talking about quite a bit less, I think, for the fire hall. You know, I agree with the generator project. I thought we had already allocated funds for that. You know, this is Hail Mary. I have not heard about the roof, and then all of a sudden, oh, we're throwing a new roof on. That roof could last another 5 or 10 years. The heating, you know, I can't wrap my head around heat pumps taking the place of space heaters for a big space like that. So I don't think we've done the homework there. And yeah, I'm just concerned that we're going for a smaller ticket grant here, whereas the trail is, I think, would be quite a bit more. And in terms of public works, it's going to save public works time and money, because now they can get a vehicle in there, and the drainage, they could use their lawnmowers. They don't have to weed whip the whole thing. So will save public works time and money, in my opinion. And I do like Ryan's point of, we haven't done anything on recreation. So I feel taxpayers would support their tax money going towards a generator, but I don't feel there's an appetite for you know, hundreds of thousands of dollars being spent on a trail. That's going to be a way harder sell, I think. So, you know, I guess something I would like council to think about is, if we don't do this now, will we ever get a trail there in our term? I doubt it. Like, are we going to have grants like this come around all the time? Or is council agreeable to using the 800,000 in funding we've got previous to this for the trail? I would think they would probably lean more on using that money for the fire hall. So bottom line is both projects can be supported, And I stand behind the trail.
And I guess the other thing is, I don't want this to be about the generator, because it's not. It's about projects that aren't necessary to be done right now. They could readily go 3, 4, 5 years before we have to change a roof. And the heating system hasn't been adequately studied to come up with a solution in the next 30 days. So I don't think we can just say we're going to apply for a grant to heat pumps when we don't even know that's what we need. We haven't had a good look at it. And we certainly know that we have a fire truck coming up, and then we're going to hear the same cry again in a year that we have to take $1 million out of our reserves, and we got to borrow money in order to buy a fire truck because the fire department needs a new fire truck, and that's necessary. So now we're going to put all this money into a roof and who knows what else that we don't really need right now, that might be available for something that's really important, that is going to be a tough job to duplicate down the road if we're lucky enough to get the grant. And we know what happens with grant applications. You don't get them all. And we saw what happened in Port Hardy with the seniors housing complex. They're having to reapply for the January funding. And maybe they'll qualify. You know, we'll be lucky if we get it, and we'd be grateful if we get it, but let's put it somewhere where it really counts. And we're not neglecting our fire department, and we can't keep chucking money at it, especially when it's for things that are non-critical. And the main things that are on this list are non-critical. And I think we need to really consider that.
Okay.
And I guess I'll stop. Thank you for an opportunity to say something else.
Councillor Barron.
Hey, I can only imagine, I know what it was like as a kid using that trail that's in behind that goes between the trailers to cut up into Camosun. And we used to get yelled at, you know, if you were out there after dark. I mean, what is even the cost of this trail? Like, I mean, I understand what people are saying, you know, maybe the heat pump, maybe maybe we don't have all those costs, but I think we're a lot closer on those costs than we are on the cost of the trail. I mean, fencing, we keep saying we're waiting for the OCP, we want community involvement. Well, how is that going to get done with all those people that live along there who are now going to have a formal trail put in behind their houses? I mean, I just think that that's more of a rush. And you've got drainage, you've got building it up, you're going to have to take it down, you know, excavation and fill. And I mean, what is that? Is that $1 million project? And then if that's $1 million project, are you like, I agree with Shelley and Gabby. I think Mine Road up along the top, that would make more sense to put some sidewalks or a paved path or trail, bike stroller area in than the other, because there's a lot of people go back and forth along there to get access to the trail or to access the other end to get out to the logging roads rather than the actual the one along Campbell Way. Like I say, I just there's no idea even of what that cost could be. It's not, I mean, 25,000 for drainage, I think, is what we put aside. And I don't even think Julian's confident that we'll get the drainage done for that. So it just seems like that's an even bigger, like where's the bottom? Where's the end? How do you make the ask?
Councillor Downey, did you have something you want to add? Or are you?
I actually would like to ask Julian his thoughts, because what I'm hearing is that it's being purported to us by a couple that this is actually a drainage problem, not a trail problem. So Julian, could you comment, is the drainage on those properties significantly or more important to deal with? Is it a higher priority than doing upgrades to the fire hall?
Good morning, Council. Tough question. The ask, well, just to confirm, it's $35,000 that was put aside for the drainage, which was my ask for this year. And long term, yeah, I think using the park space, because that's designated park land, makes sense. Right now, it's just not used at all. It takes a lot of public works time to try and maintain it because we can't get in there. So this was just the first step, was to deal with the drainage. Of course, there's going to be removal of the stumps from the trees that we've taken out that have died, to install drainage, so then I can get a mower in there and, in half an hour have the grass dealt with, as opposed to lots of man hours weed whacking. After that, I was going to come to council and say, hey, how's about, moving forward with the trail, and, picnic tables, usable space, make it usable, make it so that people can actually use it. So that was my kind of rationale and behind the ask for addressing the drainage in that, and that's just that one area. To do the entire thing, like from Mine Road all the way down to Pioneer Hill, it's going to be several hundreds of thousands of dollars. It's going to be a big project. As far as the fire hall goes, I just reiterate what I said the other day at the meeting. If nothing else, and I believe that funds were set aside already, we've got to do the backup power. That's my main focus, and it has been for a couple of years on as far as that building goes. The roof, yes, it's in need of replacing. Will it last another 5 years? It could, for sure. So as far as everything else goes, the air compressor is, I've talked to Dean about it, and since our last meeting, and it is in need of being replaced big time. It's under capacity and it's aging, and it's taking quite a bit of money to maintain. As far as the heat pumps goes, I haven't haven't had a chance to look into that yet. That's going to be a bit of time for sure, to look into that. And see the feasibility, like, of replacing those space heaters with, heat pumps. And I mean, it's going to take a bit, that's for sure, to get something kind of robust for the grant application. And also I was thinking of other things. I know that at the last meeting, it was pretty much, well, if we're going to go for this upgrade to the fire hall, like, throw everything at it. And I agree. So a new roof, a new compressor, a new heating system. What else can we do? It's, sort of go big, right? If we go for the fire hall application, but it is going to take quite a bit of time. The trail, as I say, that was my thoughts on the trail. It was a start, and this was way before I even knew that there was going to be any kind of grant funding. So that's my thoughts on that.
Just a question too on the space heater. Would you also be looking at just energy efficient? Some of the new heaters are without some of the new space heaters are energy efficient. So without a heat pump, would you be looking at both aspects of that as well?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, 100%. If we were putting in an application for the grant for the fire hall, there would be some kind of upgrades. Even the Altus report, I believe I mentioned this at the last meeting. It does mention that those heaters should be replaced fairly soon. They're operational, but they're just really inefficient. And along with the roof, that was in the Altus report too, which was supposed to be changed out 2022, I believe.
Thanks. Something to keep in mind too, if we're looking at, with the trail 500,000 plus, we have an old school that's aging that we have to deal with, that we haven't even begun to talk about. So just putting that out there. If you're talking about that kind of magnitude of project, I think all of us touched on our election platforms on a multi-use recreation facility where, maybe we have other things in there like the library and other paying tenants. So anyway, I think we've had enough discussion. If we're at the place, if somebody would like to make a motion for either the fire hall or the trail, would like to do that. Go ahead, Councillor Downey. Oh, sorry, okay.
I just a comment before I motion. In part of our mandate as a as a council is to look after our infrastructure. And that is a priority, and you know, managing the assets that are held within our town. That is why I support upgrading the fire hall. I see it that we will have one public facility that has been brought up to a standard that will give it life onwards going forward. And I also believe that what's happening with the trail and the drainage and the stumps, I also see that as a bit of a job opportunity for employment here in town, whether it's students, you know, abundance of students next summer, I don't know, but I see there's opportunity for local people to participate in that, but I don't see us hiring summer students to replace compressors, heating pumps, or doing roofing. So with that preamble, I would motion that we use the COVID-19 Resilience Infrastructure Stream Grant to pursue upgrades to the fire hall, specifically the roof, the heaters, and the compressor, and anything else I've missed.
Okay, do I have a second? Oh, sorry, Councillor Mitchell, I think you're on mute. Were you saying something?
I thought the generator was going to be added in there.
Oh. The generator.
If the generator's part of that, yeah, that's what I said, anything I've missed, so.
Okay, seconder for that motion, Councillor Barron. Okay, any further discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Okay, carried. I do want to mention we are going into budget time. I don't think, Derek, your idea is off the table. I think all of us recognize that we haven't done anything recreational wise. And so there, you know, staff, if you can, or all of us, if we can look again at what exactly that 888,000 that we got given was usable for. We are going into budget time, so we can certainly have a conversation, and we have money that we can layer into recreational projects. So Councillor Cole, I don't think your idea is dead. I think that, yeah, anyways, that's all I wanted to say. 4B, DDC funding through a partnership with Vint. Pete, I'll turn that over to you since you had sent that through an email to us.
Thank you. I'm just going to pull up the email so I don't misquote anything here. What was sent to me was essentially, sorry, I'm just trying to find it.
It's okay. Julian, I think you're free. You could go back to, well, not that I'm telling you to get lost and go to work, but you don't have to sit through the rest of the meeting if you don't want to. Thank you for coming in.
Okay, no problem. Thanks.
Julian.
Right.
Bye.
So essentially, Vancouver Island North would do the application for us. What they're looking for is just basically council approval to move forward with it. I can't find the email, you know, right off the bat here. So apologies.
Councillor Downey, do you have information on this since you're on the committee?
I had a call from Natalie Stewart making me aware of these funds, and her understanding, and at that time, this was a few days ahead of this email that came out it was on the 18th that you forwarded it to us, Pete, if that helps.
It does, thank you.
And they were at that time looking to do a visitor servicing TV system and having key locations around the riding, the region, just to play on loops in hotels and facilities where people can see features of the North Island that they may be enticed to go to. So that's what she had brought forward. So what was brought forward by Pete is new to me, because at that time we spoke, she understood it to be 15,000 period, but now it sounds like it's 15,000 per community. So pooling the assets would make sense.
And it sounds like there were different parameters that she wasn't aware of that didn't make that project possible to fall under this guideline. Did you find it, Pete?
I did, thank you. Yeah, actually, thanks to Heather for re-emailing it to me because I couldn't find it. There's a funding opportunity through Destination BC for destination community adaptation funding. The deadline for this grant is December 22nd, so that's tomorrow. We're working on a very tight timeline. Spoke with our contact at the DBC, and she informed me that each of the MRDT collecting communities can apply for this funding. It is expected that each community could expect approximately $15,000 in funding. No fund matching is required. Vint is proposing to complete and submit plans on behalf of all 4 MRDT collecting communities in our region upon approval from each community, which is the ask today. The plan is for all 4 communities to apply for the $15,000 and pool the funds towards the following Vint proposal. High-level overview of what we expect the plans to include. Until this morning, we were going to a completely different direction. However, after hearing back from DBC, original plan was not eligible. So the plans are to build a strategic tourism recovery program, which will include an engagement process to develop a future marketing plan and to inform our current marketing plan, a book now, visit later campaign, and that'll include a web page on the Vint site, as well as other marketing initiatives, and then a research component. Karen Bannister and the team will work on completing this plan this afternoon and over the weekend for something to submit on Monday today. Hoping there will be someone available to approve the plan on Monday by email. So that's from Natalie Stewart. If there's anything anybody wants me to reread, I'm happy to do that. I went through that pretty quickly, but the gist of it is it looks like they want to pool all of the funds to do a regional tourism marketing plan.
Yeah, and they're well situated and well knowledgeable and well connected to be able to pull not just the application together, but their outcome. And I think that our tourism business really needs a strategic plan going forward, and the fact that they want to execute this plan with input from our stakeholders is fantastic to me. So would somebody like to make a motion then in favor of, or I'll make that motion in favor of supporting the application to DBC from Vint. I know that's acronyms, but to Destination British Columbia, to pool for Vancouver Island North tourism. Seconder for that?
Second.
Did you want to see it written? Anybody want to see it written first on the screen? Or are we okay with just? Councillor Mitchell, did you want to see it written on the screen?
I'm good.
Okay. Seconder, any discussion on this? All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Okay. And then item 4C, OCP focus groups. Councillor Mitchell?
Yes. I'm in receipt of your email that says that Kevin has all the information from all of the focus groups except the seniors. I'll be asking him to share the contact numbers and so on, and then councillors can contact the individual members. No, by its very nature, a focus group is a specific group of people, usually between 6 and 10 or in that neighborhood, with a particular viewpoint, such as seniors, business, recreation users, and so on. And the nature of the group is that that group of people meets, they share their views, they discuss, and they come to a consensus. And then that consensus gets rolled into into whatever they're whoever they're focusing for. In this case, the official community plan. Now, we've already fast-tracked and compacted our public consultation process right from the very beginning, from the very first public public involvement that we had. And now we're going to just basically eliminate the seniors focus group. And I'm just absolutely and completely opposed to that. And I think that there's a problem with the OCP being so important, its timetable being so important, that public involvement is going to get sacrificed. In fact, it's already been sacrificed, and now we're going to sacrifice it some more. And I would like to see the data that says that the teens actually met, that the youth focus group actually had meetings and came to a consensus with what they wanted, or was it just somebody talking to each individual member of that group? Because that's not a focus group.
Pete, go ahead.
Yeah, I was at the youth focus group meeting. Actually, there's been a couple of them.
Yeah, and the focus group is to just to find out if we have made sure that there are questions captured in that survey that is going out, and we wanted the seniors' input to make sure
Right.
that, yeah.
And so we're redefining what a focus group is in order to fit the agenda for this official community plan, because that's not what a focus group is about. It's not about one person going around and asking 10 seniors what it is, what's on their mind. That's not what a focus group is. So either we're going to have focus groups or we're not. And this to me is we're not. And I'll have no part of it. I'm totally opposed to it. We said we were pausing. What are we pausing? Sounds like nothing. We're just plowing ahead.
We said we were soft pausing, and I thought that I was under the understanding that council was in favor of moving forward with the questionnaire, and that it would be, the time frame would be extended, and then we would be waiting till we could meet in person to move
But
forward.
what are we pausing? We put this big spread in the paper said we were putting the OCP on pause.
Well,
That's not true. We're not pausing anything. We're just ramming ahead.
we were, it was a soft pause, and it was reported incorrectly, because I read that too, and I thought that isn't actually what we voted on. We said we were doing a soft pause and that we were going to be moving forward on the.
So what is it that we're pausing? Nothing. What are we pausing?
We're
I'm trying to figure that out.
I just, excuse me, Councillor Mitchell, I just said that the survey would go out, what we had agreed as a council, and please correct me, other councillors, that we were pausing until we could, after the survey, until we could meet in person with people, that we weren't just going to be doing this Zoom online. And so that was my understanding. So that was the soft pause we talked about. Councillor Downey?
I would just confirm that. I'm just visiting my notes here, and I've got here partial pause was to proceed with the survey, release at the end of December, but let it run longer, mid to late January. That's what I put in my notes as well.
Right. So there's nothing in it that says we're going to cancel the focus groups and just phone each individual person that's been agreed to be in that group, because there is no group. Anyway, I've said my piece.
Well, I have names, so it's up to you. If council decides to call them after this, it's up to you if you want to participate or not. Councillor Barron?
The teenage focus group, I'm assuming, was Zoom, and I'm assuming that it was fairly easy to get the kids all online, or probably because they're already in pods at the school, it was fairly easy to do. Is there a way, for the purposes of getting the questions on this survey, which is what this group is for, is there a way to do that at the community hall with Kevin being on Zoom and somebody, staff or one of the counselors, actually running this platform and having the seniors, if it's like, how many people are there? Are they fairly able-bodied, the people that have put their names forward? Is that a possibility to go through the questions to get the survey out to allay? To allay Councillor Mitchell's concerns? And my understanding was the survey was going to still go out, but that we were going, like the pause part was, we were waiting until after that January 8th. Hopefully that lift came up so that we could get the focus groups together to answer the questions on the survey. That was kind of my understanding.
So this focus group is to form the questions. It wasn't to answer the questions. And it's not possible to get them in the hall until, because of the numbers that we're not allowed to gather right now. So that's the dilemma. And that was why the suggestion was to touch base with the seniors. I do have the phone numbers and emails. They've all been presented with the survey. They've had time to look at it, and yeah, and then have counselors reach out to one each, I guess, and report back. Did you want to add anything
There's a
else?
detailed plan here. I didn't see it in the email to
That's
continue
because
with the focus groups later on.
I haven't gotten that back from McElhaney. He was getting the revised questionnaire from the input from the rest, and then said he would get it out to me today or tomorrow, and then I was going to send it to the rest of you.
But Councillor Mitchell, the focus groups were going to continue once we got the new health directive after January 8th. I think that's important that we all are in agreement on that this blip of phoning people was just to make sure that group had input into the survey questions. The actual answering of the survey, we're holding off until we know whether the Canucks can play in January or not. I mean, we can put people together.
My understanding, if I know I don't have it wrong, because I spoke with Kevin about this at length, and the purpose of the focus group meeting at the time that we were planning to meet was to help produce a questionnaire that had some input from the various groups, including the seniors. And so this questionnaire will be produced, but not with the product of the focus group. So this is going to go, it's going to be delayed. You said it's going to be, the length of time it will be out there will be delayed, but it's going to be produced without input from the seniors focus group. That's the way it is, because it's not a focus group if all they're going to get is a phone call from somebody. That's not what a focus group is. And I just think that this process is being pushed too hard. We need to slow down and get it right. And I don't believe this gets it right. It gets you that, allows you to tick off a box, but it doesn't achieve the goal. And I don't like that.
Thank you.
Anyway, I'm done.
Okay, thanks. Pete, is it, do you need a motion that counselors phone, or is it just something that I'll send out, and, you know, if you want to participate or not, that's up to you?
Yeah, I would really, just based on the word focus, I hate to see us not get any input at all from the seniors, even if it is individual. I think that's more important than not doing it at all. You know, the direction from council is to have the survey ready, and the survey is at the final door before we release it. So it would be really helpful, even on an individual basis, to get the feedback from the seniors on if all of the questions we need to ask are being asked.
Okay. All right. Okay. Thank you very much for sharing your thoughts, Councillor Mitchell. And I guess that's all we have for today. So thank you, everybody. I'll ask for a motion to adjourn. Moved. Or do you all want to still talk? Moved, seconded. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. Did you want to say something, Anne-Marie? You've got, oh, I thought you were looking like you were pushing me. Merry Christmas, everybody. Thank you.
Merry Christmas, everyone.
Merry Christmas, thanks.